Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking about the 2001 D penny. Now, most of these are worth 1 cent, some of these have sold for over $100,000, and the other ones generally are going to be in maybe the tens or hundreds of dollars or a little bit more than 1 cent. But we'll be going over all the different types that lead to these different valuations, whether it's in really nice condition, has a variety, where if you look really closely on some of them, they'll exhibit sort of a slight thing that looks off. They have an attribute that's happened in the dies that strike the coins, or it could be a more major mint error, and those are the ones that have the huge, six-figure price tags. But let's get right into it, tell you everything you want to know. So let's get right into the 2001 D Lincoln cent. I'm not going to go over too much outside of that. This should be a zinc coin, so it should weigh 2.5 grams. 1982, midway through that year and up, they switched over to zinc, so it's not worth melting down because of the metal price, and it features the Lincoln design. He was the first person to appear on a circulating coin. Prior to that, they had done Liberty, but here we've got the 2001 D, so in mint state 68, that's probably the lowest condition where it's worth certifying, and you're not even going to be able to make back your money for doing that. So this is one of the cases where you really need it to be mint state 69 to make back your money, and that's not similar, on some of the dates nearby. It's a lot tougher to get mint state 69. People are paying up a ton for it, but it virtually needs to be flawless on every part of the coin to be worth grading, and you'll only get about $275 as opposed to some of the other years where mint state 69 is several thousand. But with 5.3 billion produced, what more can you ask for? The double dies that I want to focus on, so this one has some extra thickness in the date, but also you're going to see a nice notching in the Y, or like a clear spread, a notch in the top serif of the Y, and then this nice spread on the outside of it. And this one sells for about $4 to $15, much better than a 1 cent coin, and sort of a fun thing to be looking out for. There's also this double die obverse, which you can see the notches and the sort of northeast extra spread that has been, attached to the coin. Even in the date, it's just a really bloated look for those letters. This sold for, anywhere between 4 and 15 for nice examples. These are a little bit less valuable, the double die reverses, but these are a little nicer. So often you see like these doubled columns, and it's just a tiny little chip along one side. As you noticed, maybe this is the 6th listing out of many, 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 but I didn't even include a lot of the first few just because they were so minute. But this is a more prominent one where you see part of the column really extending into the field where the Lincoln Memorial is, and this sells for anywhere from $1 if it is visibly circulated to like $7, $8 if it's in nice condition. And you have a similar thing here where there's multiple locations of doubling. The columns are cutting in from the opposite angle and on both sides, and you see a little bit of an extra column sort of in the middle, but similar value on that one, not too wild. This is the most valuable mint error on a Lincoln Memorial that I'm aware of in terms of how much it sold for. This was muled with a dime reverse, and you should be looking out for any of these that you can. That's why I flip over all the pennies I get to make sure there's no dimes or other impressions, other reverses. Sold for $114,000 and was super, super significant. Also sort of shows the strength of the current rare error coin market, that this did sell for a 6-figure sum. Some less impressive things, a deep die cap. So essentially this coin did not properly eject from the printing or the striking press and went on to strike a ton of other coins. Eventually the reverse design gets worn away from doing that, producing a lot of not broad struck coins, what's the word that I'm looking for? Brockages and counter brockages. But anyways, this one ended up selling for $490 all the way back in 2007. I bet it's appreciated nicely, but in person, when you see these, there's often very raised surfaces, so it's a really cool coin to see and own. I should probably try to purchase one, but they're pretty expensive. So the last type is just a broad struck coin. Maybe that's where I accidentally called it broad struck instead of brockage. But you can see that the metal flow expands a little bit beyond where it normally should on both sides. The retaining collars are not properly in place, and the metal just flows out because there's a tremendous amount of force applied during the process of striking the coin. But this sold for $80, not nearly as much as some of the previous ones, but that is certainly one to behold. 2001D, 114,000, pretty significant. But I think that all of these are really cool, and we have some neat double dies, whether it's the minor ones on the front or the minor ones on the back. A lot to be searching for. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like the video, comment, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. And I also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and some other social media platforms. You can also go to my main channel website, treasuretownYT.com, to learn more about the channel and sort of stay in contact. I also will eventually host all of these videos on coinsmetalscards.com, which will be both news, marketplace, and coin information. I do have the goal of eventually getting pretty much every US coin, date, mint mark, denomination on the channel with a similar video to the one that you just watched, and that will likely all be hosted there. And then I also have treasuretowncoins.com, which is sort of my coin dealing wing, coin dealing only entity that is a little bit less focused on content production. So thank you so much, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my other videos. I also have videos that are not just the date, mint mark, denomination recap in this format, so you can check some of those out, and I'll have fun seeing you there.